All good. Hello, a very good evening and welcome to Sim Broadcasts for a new regular championship series in Live for Speed. Well, not new per se, we've covered Fox Friday in the past, but we are going to start with a run of Fox Friday events throughout 2023, starting with tonight's round, round 23. We did do round 22, the 13th year anniversary special, which means that this is the beginning of the 14th year of Fox Friday in Live for Speed, hosted by the Fragmasters team. As well as Chris behind the scenes, we've got two familiar names joining me in the commentary box tonight. The first is a veteran of the booth, Travis Mellinger. How's it going?
Hi-ho, Peter. I'm doing very well, thank you.
Good stuff. The other voice in the booth is fresh to commentary. He's the man responsible for convincing the LFS devs that mods should be a thing, but you probably know him from organising Master Race Cars E Challenge. It's Michael Málek. Michael, welcome to the booth.
Good evening, guys. Great to be here.
Yeah, Michael's going to be joining us for the whole of the Fox Friday Championship this year. But Travis, you're just here for a one-off. You decided this afternoon you were going to join in, and we're very grateful. So thank you both for being here. We've got a packed schedule. The race is pretty much almost about to start. We've not got too long to go at all. So where are we tonight? We're at the fantastic Kyoto Ring National Reversed Circuit, 5.1 kilometers, 3.2 miles, 14 tortuous corners for the Fox. We've had a one-shot qualifying session of which the results are in, and very interesting, I have to say. And then we're going to have a 1-hour race beginning in just a few moments' time around here. Gents, we've seen plenty of awesome racing at KY2R. Tonight it's going to be no different. Travis, let's start with you.
Yeah, this is a brilliant circuit. Right before we went live, you and I were talking about how this is your favorite circuit in Live for Speed. I prefer the other direction, but this is my favorite of the tracks in Live for Speed. Kyoto National, get the nice ovals like we enjoy so much in the United States, and then this nice infield section. Really high speed in a lot of cars, in particular the Fox. Lots of full throttle. Rear of the car wants to break loose, but for the most part, it is at top speed, wide open. So yeah, this will be this track is a classic. It'll produce a lot of great racing. This will be a very fun Fox Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. Michael, you've driven around here a lot, so what do you make of it? It's going to be fun in the Fox. A lot of downforce.
Yeah, I absolutely love this track. To be honest, I love it even more with the Formula BMW, the one of the actual real cars in LFS, but I'm sure it will be another exciting race with Formula XR as well.
Is he allowed to say that, Travis? I don't know if he's allowed to say that during Fox Friday. Anyway, Michael, you'll learn. 2-litre inline-4 mid-engine rear-wheel drive proper car, even though it is fictional, based on the Renault 2.0. But there we go. That is the car that we're going to be driving tonight, as always, in Fox Friday. And here is the championship schedule. We covered last week's endurance, South City Long, and tonight we're at KY2R. And then we're going to be broadcasting another 6 rounds towards the end of the year. At least we might scatter in a couple more if we feel like it. But there we go. That is the calendar that we are going to be working with. We have just over a minute to go before the start of the race. So let's bring things up to speed with the team's championship. It's Fragmasters leading with a healthy chunk over their rivals Road Appraiser in the team's championship. And there you can see the top 20 teams that are currently battling it out for glory. We can cover this more another time, but we just need to get into the series. This is going to make more sense as we go through, I think. But you can see there a large number of Fragmasters teams occupying the top 20 slots as well. So Fragmasters with a lot of different drivers, and 33 teams have represented and scored at least a point so far in 2023. Very good stuff. We'll see more of that as the season progresses. But in the Drivers' Championship, it's Fragmasters Fatal leading the way over TJ. Then it's Roger Chen, Onifus, Zesty, Gabor, and yeah, we've got a whole heap of screens of drivers here that have also competed and have scored at least a point. Most of them representing teams, but some of them obviously not. Gents, this has been a very, very intensely popular series over the years, and it's great to see it still going. We've got a very, very strong grid here today.
We do indeed, and no surprise to me to see Gabor at the top. We were watching cars around for qualifying while we were winding up the broadcast, and he ran later toward the end of the qualifying session, and then across the line about 2.5 tenths faster than Christian. So could be another Gabor show, a Gabor clinic, as I like to say, right there at the top. But a lot of strong drivers in this field. It'll be exciting, close racing for an entire hour.
Yeah, Michael, we're going to run through the qualifying standings as Travis just alluded to. But yeah, Gabor on pole, a 1:38.83. He is monstrous in this car and monstrous around KY2R.
Yeah, then it's Christian in P2, followed by Roger Jen, TJ, MRC, Happy D, Fatal, Zesty, Igor, Furia, and Neva. And top 10 is ended with Lacunas. Then in 11th, it's MRC Texas, followed by Lima, Doctor, Kai Pirpo, Mugrillo, Rikes, Lucas, Itkoivunan, Strutter, and top 20 ended with RD2.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do have 40 drivers. We've got Al Payson. He's the person who really got in contact with us to cover this season of Fox Friday. So we're very grateful for that. We've got Beppo Sachs in P22, Donny, Adam Carrera, Trespassers back. That's a fun one. Finn UK, Drop Science, Onifus, Tango, Rocket, Kirku87, Scattle, Miko, Boy, Twincam, Joiner, Paolo, Mantas, and Unite rounds out the top 40. But yeah, there we go. We do. I think we will have a couple more drivers on the third page of results actually, because obviously this is one-shot qualifying, which means more drivers can compete than 40. But it looks like we've just had exactly 40. So apologies for that. Yeah, we've got to have there's a manual gridding situation going on in the background, so we're going to be a couple of minutes delayed here, boys. So that gives us more time to talk about the championship, what we're going to look forward to this year. Fox Friday's been on my list of things I've wanted to do for a long time, so I'm very, very grateful that I get to do it. Michael, starting with you, what are you looking forward to this year? What's the main thing that you're hoping to get out of the Fox Friday series?
Well, as always, I'm looking for excitement, and that's something that the FM Fox Friday is providing almost every day, so every week, to be honest. And when I bought the LFS license, this was actually the first event I attended, and it was actually the Kyoto one, the Oval, and that was an amazing experience that made me hooked in LFS for another 10 years and counting.
Yeah, Travis, I know you're only here for this one, or maybe you'll jump in for a couple of others. Who knows? We can dream, right? It's great to have Fox Friday on our screens, and I'm looking forward to it. The first normal Fox Friday race that we've done that hasn't been an endurance in a very long time.
Yeah, me too. And I'm absolutely with Michael. I'm here for equal portions, entertaining all of you listening and being entertained myself. Fox Racing produces very exciting action, and Fox Friday is such a classic event that I'm sure we will have no shortage of it today. Since we have a few more seconds, I have a comment and then a question for Michael. If we look back at the qualifying results, so one was that I don't know what Nico Pantola was doing, Unite, but he managed to sneak across the line after totally throwing away a lap, and he's lucky that there wasn't anyone else qualifying today because he just managed to sneak in there with a lap like 2 seconds slower than everyone else. So. Yeah, nobody actually trying in what would have become 41st or 42nd position that might have pipped him. He just sneaks onto the end of this grid with a weird lap, but he's there, and we'll get to see Nico drive through the grid. And then question for Michael is, Michael, if you look at the top 10 results there, you have to be pretty pleased with your teammates there in the top 10.
Well, I'm absolutely delighted with so many MRC members in top 10, but I will be even more happy if one of them wins the race. But I think it will be Gabor or TJ who wins tonight. What do you think?
That's a tough call. The race 1 week ago was a classic, an instant classic between Gabor and TJ, and I really hope we see more of that today. The wheel-to-wheel action, the 3 or 4 laps of them running side by side and trading positions at the end of that race was one for the ages, and if we get more of that today, we will be very lucky indeed.
Well, lots to look forward to. As far as we know, there is a grid being assembled, or has been assembled in the background, so we should be getting going pretty soon. Yeah, this is going to be pretty awesome. I think TJ is a good shout, Michael. To be honest, I think he could probably have a pretty good start. Gabor, he's unlikely to still be in first place going into turn one because of the amount of cars behind him, I think. And it's a long run to turn one, Travis, here.
Yeah, very long run to turn one. We'll see cars 3, 4, maybe 5 wide. The slipstream is huge. They will be near terminal velocity by the time they dive into the first corner, number 2 on the map there. Big turn 1 is noted as turn 1 on that map. It can get a little hairy because that's a very fast corner, and then it gets narrow quickly for that slower turn 4 before they take off into the infield. So yeah, as you said, lots of time before they get to that first corner to try to shake things out. Also lots of time for back markers to maybe make up some positions on cars at the middle front of the grid who don't get it quite right. So plenty of opportunities for drivers further back to try to make up some spots. You can't win in the first corner, but in a race like this, you can certainly set yourself up for a good finish right at the start.
The organisers are busy in the background, still sorting out the order. So yeah, we're going to just twiddle our thumbs here for a bit, but excitement is guaranteed in the background. We're going to have a good evening. Yeah, the Fox. It is I'm pretty sure it still occupies the top spot on the most popular cars list in Live for Speed on LFS World, and rightly so. I'm pretty sure it's you can take most of the decent circuits in Live for Speed almost flat out in this thing. That's how much downforce it produces for the amount of power that it has. And yeah, it is such a popular car, and we're in 2023. Live for Speed is again in a bit of a in a bit of a neutral state, should we say? But we're still getting full grids of Fox racing, and that's just awesome to see. We hope that it will improve, of course, and we'll see maybe having multiple servers of Fox Friday in the future again. But yeah, this is a positive thing to see. And yeah, just back to this graphic again, the calendar. We're going to be broadcasting every single month one of the races, because we're also broadcasting the GTI Thursday series by Fragmaster as well. So that's 2 races for Fragmaster every single month. So that's nice to see them occupying quite a bit of our calendar to kind of balance it out a little bit. Yeah, so there is definitely going to be some stories, because the qualifying results are pretty much going to be over as soon as the lights go out. There's an enormous slipstream, as Travis mentioned, down into turn 1, and a very, very tricky lap where 40 cars will have to sort themselves out, get into some sort of order before they come across the start-finish line again. Kyoto Ring is one of those tracks that just breeds overtaking. You've got most of the track really is on the oval. You get 3 corners of the oval here, so plenty of opportunity for overtaking. Apologies for the delay. We will get some racing action on the screens for you just as soon as we can. Yeah, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to. I think Fox Friday, it's one of those events where everyone wants to race. They really love to race, but there is a very casual kind of gridding process. The race never quite starts on time, does it, Michael?
Yeah, it's been a long time since my last attendance in Fox Friday, but it's true that with the full grids, that always were the case with Fox Friday, it took a lot of time to get this start, so I'm not surprised, really.
Yeah, no, I'm being unfair. It's just I'm impatient to get going, as always, and yeah, it's there's a lot of people to organise. 40 people have to be ready. They have to be back. They have to have gone for their loo break, which always happens. And yeah, we'll get some drivers on the screen in just a moment. I do want to say a big thank you to Andy Alston, Zdenek Sagash, and Zdravko Topolniak and Chris for covering last week's endurance. But with that over, I am happy to say that we have a grid, and we are going to be going green in a moment's time. Cars on screen. Travis, I'm going to give you the honours. Take it away for the start.
Thank you very much, Peter. There you can see Gabor on the left side of your screen, and then alongside his right, you can see that is that's Christian in the lead Fragmaster machine there on the front of the grid. Roger Chen, TJ, Happy D, Fatal in the background. Lots of MRC, Road Apresa, and Fragmaster cards there in the top 10. Lights coming up now. Engines revving up. And away they go. Good start from Gabor. Another good start from Christian behind. Roger Chen looked like he was a little bit slow away from the grid, but slots into 3rd position. That's the orange machine of Happy D behind him. A good start for for the MRC driver as we're single file through the first 4 or 5 positions. That looks like Fatal in the 94 machine going to the outside, now tucking back in. Strong slipstream coming around to the first corner. Expected drivers to be more spread out. There we go. The cars start to fan out as we come out of oval turn 1 into turn 2. Very wide on the outside by Christian. He might lose a position to Roger Chen there. He takes a look, chooses to fall back into line. And at the front of the grid, everyone cleanly through the first corner. There's a car spinning in the background, a little bit of dust. Didn't see who that was. Might catch a few more cars. Off in the grass. One car spinning in front of the grid. Big accident. That was a Fragmaster machine that got tagged in the middle of it and off into the barriers. Another Fragmaster machine, maybe the same one. That's Al Pace, and reverse it back onto the circuit. So a few cars caught up in that schmozzle. Back at the front of the grid, Gabor with the Fragmaster machine of Christian alongside him. Now line astern coming through this very long, we name it the Parabolica corner because it resembles the famous corner of Monza so much. Gabor coming down to the final sequence of bends before we go back onto the main part of the circuit. A few cars caught up in that early incident, but otherwise cars stringing out and through most of this lap. Gabor going to lead them back onto the oval now. Cars snaking through this very fast chicane up onto the back straight, and Gabor will lead the first lap through turn 3 and around to the start-finish line. There you go, Peter. 1 lap down. 44 to go when Gabor crosses the line in just a few moments' time.
Oh, Travis, you're so good at this. It's great to hear you smashing out some commentary. But yeah, my prediction about Gabor was completely wrong. He leads as we head over start-finish to begin lap 2. Michael, what a lap. A bit of drama towards the back, but we have most of the grid making it around lap 1.
Yeah, there was some carnage in the back, but it's usual for a 40 cars great. And as we can see, the front of the grid got away really well, and everyone's going safely into the rest of the race.
Yeah, we've got a massive squabble going into turn number 2. We're watching Donny, who's got a pack of cars following him. He's got Pekka Koivunen and McGregor and Strutter. And further up, we've got Happy D looking for a move on Zesty. So 2 teammates going at it wheel to wheel. And that's Igor just in the background as well, I think. Might have got that slightly wrong. No, they're chasing Igor, my mistake. So there we go. Lots and lots of movers and shakers. Fatal also up there currently in P6. He's fighting with Zesty at the moment as we head into Parabolica.
So I want to call attention to my brilliance here. Sorry, Peter, go ahead. Something has excited you.
No, I think Happy D was tagging Igor as we went through Parabolica. Carry on.
So I mentioned at the start that there's an opportunity for cars at the back to make up positions when cars in the middle, perhaps near the front, collect. That is Unite from 40th position is all the way up to 20th, 19th, 20th. It's hard to count on the tower there. 22nd, yeah, up to 22nd from 40th on the grid. Managed to pass a whole bunch of cars spinning and driving off in the grass. So an amazing start for Nico Pantola to move up half the positions on the grid in less than 1 lap.
Yeah. Now we can see Mentas battling it out with who is the guy next to him.
It's RD2.
Yeah, it's RD2. They're going side by side on the oval. I expect them to slip behind each other and take the advantage of the draft. So as I speak, they are rigged it. I expect Mentas to go on the outside of the turn 1 or turn 2, the first major braking zone. Let's see how it goes. Actually, it's the other way around, as Mentas is on the inside and really makes the dive from the car ahead, but slots behind into the turn 4 as they keep going into the second sector of this lap.
Yeah, they're still side by side. Yeah, it was nice, but they're still side by side, and I think it was Scattle actually who got a little bit in the way of Mantas, and they're going to be catching up with Twin Cam too at some point.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to end up being a late dive for 2 positions there, and he's ended up falling back a little bit and still running side by side. There, Onifus under pressure now. McGurlo behind him. Onifus comes out to the left side of the road, cuts off McGurlo from trying to peek up the inside, while now Doctor has a run coming into the final sequence bends. Late on the brakes here. Very nice and tidy. McGurlo tries to hold it on the outside, but that's it. Job done. And Doctor goes off in pursuit of Onifus.
We've got Neva versus Roger Chen. Neva on the inside, Roger Chen driving that Mercedes-inspired livery on the outside. He'll be able to cut back in. and have another go, because this oval is so so long that you can catch up to someone multiple times and get past multiple times in the slipstream. So Roger's through there. Neva will have another go. They're trying to bridge the gap here to TJ, aren't they? That's their strategy at this point.
Yeah, and they're working together really well. So we see this in oval racing, especially with the Fox, because it punches such a huge hole in the air and doesn't have all that much horsepower. And we could see them coming onto the oval and then through the main straight and into turn one. They were working together, trading positions to try to catch up to TJ. And there we have it. Neva's right there as TJ goes off in the grass. Neva's going to have a run on his left here while we watch from Roger 10's view. I think he's going to think better of it, try to do the crossover on the inside at the exit of the corner. Still hanging around there, but very tight racing. The two of them running side by side are going to punch a big hole in the air and let Roger Chen catch right up to them. So now we've got a three-way fight for the third step on the podium.
Yeah, pretty intense stuff. It's they managed to catch up with TJ an immense amount, and TJ, I think he'll be actually thankful that he's now got a bit of company, because he will be able to bridge the gap to Christian and Gabor. Gabor is absolutely checked out. Of course, we do expect, we know that everybody on the grid at some point will have to come in to refuel, because the races are of a length where they're kind of geared to be just over a tank of fuel. So it forces pit strategy. Michael, so, you know, some drivers will elect to pit halfway, some of them will elect to pit slightly earlier than that, some of them will have brimmed the tank as we've got Neva going off the track.
Exactly, as you say, I expect most of the drivers to pit as late as possible. I think many of them are going with the full fuel tank, as we see TJ going side by side and actually gaining position on the oval part. Now I expect them to switch back
And kind of a weird move there by Neva going down on the apron. I think he expected TJ to come up and give him the room, because they're faster together working that way. If you let the trailing car go down to the inside and then just tuck in behind on the exit of the corner. So I don't think he intended to go off track to make the pass there. Seemed like just a bit of a miscommunication, but there they go, working together. They have dropped Roger Chen behind them. Roger Chen now out of slipstream range, and these two can work together to catch up to Christian. And if they can catch Christian and work together on the oval part of the circuit, they will have a pretty good shot at catching up to Gabor. And then we will have a very exciting fight. Three of these drivers all trying to take that top position from the man I would argue is the very best in Live for Speed.
Oh, you're going to inflate his ego with that comment, but I wouldn't disagree. TJ won't mind this, as you said. He's not going to mind having Neva for company. They'll be able to bridge the gap, but TJ has to be in striking position as they come out of the next complex of corners. This left-hander here, critical to get the power down, but Neva's had a good exit. Will he be able to bridge the gap to TJ? I think he might have done it. TJ's one wide. Has he got the slipstream? Or has he already lost Neva's draft? I think he has.
Yeah, pretty close.
He's too far.
Yeah, I think he is he's just on the edge of the slipstream. He is, it looks to me, following on board with TJ, that he is just pulling ever so slightly. But he lucked out in that Neva did not get Christian's slipstream. So, you know, one tiny mistake from Neva, a good exit from TJ, he'll be able to catch up again. In fact, you can see him pulling through the through oval turn one now. So I think he's not out of it yet. Slight mistake has set him back about one lap, but he can put together a few strong corners, and he'll be right there with Neva once again. Yeah, Pete, take that away.
Well, I couldn't contain my excitement there. Scattle and RD2 coming super close together. Scattle dives to the inside, wants to get the move done in turn two. A good place to get the move done, but RD2 able to hold it around the outside. Scattle a little bit tentative there on the brakes, and good effort there for RD2 to hold up the slipstream. And is that Donny? Yes, it is. Donny goes up the inside. Was it Donny? Was that someone else? I think. Have I got confused there? I think it was Happy D. Sorry, similar livery, but there we go. Happy D manages to get one over on Scattle up to P22. Battles everywhere, Michael.
Absolutely. As we see Doctor following Texas, battling for the 13th position, he goes wide and is going to be overtaken by 2, maybe 3 cars going into the hard braking zone. Let's see how it goes. Hopefully there's no violent contact and they have to avoid each other, and there's another car and a huge contact, and that's just unlucky. I didn't notice who it was, but it's that his race is essentially over.
Yeah, but he's rejoined in front of a bunch of traffic. Oh.
He has, yeah. That was a hip check by Finnick to put Doctor off the road, and then kind of a little bit ragged by Doctor rejoining their twin cam. Unfortunately, the real loser out of all of that, though he dutifully stays on the edge of the circuit, waiting for traffic to go by before rejoining this. Oh my goodness! I thought he was about to take. It looked like when they were coming through the bend there that he was about to get under the diffuser, the rear end of Tex's car, and put him around into the outside barrier. Fortunately, he just missed. Now he's going to dive to the inside.
Apron.
That's a bit cheeky. Yeah, down on the apron, trying to make this work into turn one. But that's Texas gained a position on the previous lap and now loses one. Goes wide around the tires on the outside of the curbing there. And now, now your teammate, Michael, Texas has a mirror full of Finnick, who is trying to recover from that little collision on the previous lap. Finnick lighting up the rear tires, the back of that car, wanting to get away from him. Finn UK, thank you, Peter. It looks like Finnick, but the way it's capitalized, you're absolutely right. Finn UK. Texas, your teammate, Michael, with a bit of a problem on his hands right now.
Yeah, speaking of my teammates and upsets, I see Happy D being in P19. I recall he was starting around 9th place, so there was definitely some collision for him as well, as he's now at the back of top 20 barely.
Yeah, and RD2's had his fair share of airtime. He needs to get some sponsors on that car. It does look like he's using the same sort of colours as Tango ahead of him in that nice Alpine F1 inspired livery from a few years ago. But RD2 currently P23 and is going to give chase, and he's going to be in a great position if he wants to get a position here, because he's in the slipstream as we head onto the oval for the 7th time of asking in this race.
And that's job done for RD2, is now through, though. Yeah, for a moment, he's got half a lap to try to defend this position, and it's going to last about this long. That is the end of turn 4 and then the front straightaway before he loses the position, tucks in, and will have this work to do once again coming into turn 1. Looking up to the front of the grid, I expected TJ to put together a couple strong corners and catch up with Neva to be able to work together, but it hasn't happened. These cars the gap's staying pretty even. Gabor there in front, you can see him go through. Christian, Neva, TJ behind him. Roger Chen now on the screen, just a little bit further back. Roger Chen will have Zesty, another one of your teammates, the class of the MRC effort today, Michael. Good day for Zesty, and he's there in contention for 5th place if he can put together a couple strong corners and get a nice run around the oval.
Absolutely. He's now a bit too far, but he brakes really late, and that should secure him a close spot at the start of the oval part and allow him to draft by, which is all he needs. Let's see how it goes. I think he's maybe a bit too far. He seems to be definitely a bit too far. Yeah, he lost the draft, but TJ seemed to go wide, so he's maybe waiting for the Steve to make the draft happen and cooperate forward.
Yeah, TJ got a really bad exit, and Roger Chen is through. TJ might drop back just enough to pick up Zesty, though. We'll have to keep an eye on this. TJ right there. I think TJ's picked up enough speed from the slipstream now, that they're going to drop Zesty. But these two fighting side by side into this corner. Great overhead shot here. TJ's going to try to get it done on the outside, which he does. Roger Chen nice and tight, committed to the corner, but TJ, job done. Very nice pass by him. Though he goes off in the grass, these two are going to be side by side once more coming into the hairpin, and that's going to put Zesty back in contention for this 5th place.
Yeah, this has been a scrappy beginning to the lap, and yet again he's given up a bit of track position to Zesty. Not Zesty. That is Roger Chen. Who is going to get another run, and he's definitely holding TJ up here. There's no doubt about it. These two, or now 3 in fact, are going to have to start working together at some point if they want to close up to Christian, who's doing a mighty job up front. Staying with Neva, who's obviously on an absolute flyer at the moment.
Yeah, this is kind of a classic racing driver mistake when when you're fighting for position like this and you give up a little bit of track position, a small advantage by making tiny mistakes, it's really easy to get into this mindset that you want to defend the position. You know, I've made him, I was running fourth, I was in a strong fourth or third or whatever, and I want to hold this position because I know I'm quicker than the driver behind me, so I'm going to keep fighting for it. And drivers kind of lose sight of the fact that fighting for the position isn't necessarily the best long-term strategy. There you can see from Zesty's point of view that TJ's given up a little bit of track position ahead of him and pulled Zesty into this fight. So now what might have been to TJ's advantage to just back off, work together with Roger Chen, try to catch up to the cars ahead, has now put TJ in more jeopardy from more drivers behind. Now we can see this is a 4-car train as Igor is about to catch up with Zesty. TJ, as you said, Peter, definitely holding these guys up. But fortunately for Michael in the MRC squad, yeah, Michael, I think this is benefiting your teammate more than anyone else in this line.
Yeah, I definitely see him having some advantage later on if something goes bad for TJ. But at this point, they are keeping it together really well. But so far, the top 3 are getting away, so I think they have to change something in order to catch them.
Yeah, we're going to ride on board with Zesty and see if he can get closer to the back of Roger Chen as we head into the final sector of the lap. The characteristics of this track in the Fox are, unparalleled, I think, in the speed. You've got the huge oval, the very, very technical corners on the infield. One of the most difficult sections to get right time and time again is this final sector here. Again, you see Zesty struggling for rear grip and front grip actually through there. Not so much grip limited on the outside of the corner there, but it's more of a traction problem as you're heading through that final sector and then on, of course, onto this very long oval. He's had a good exit. I don't know if he's close enough. I think he's close enough actually to get a distant tow from Roger. Roger's definitely lost out on the tow from TJ. Yeah, you can see Roger taking a tighter line to try and minimise the run that he's got. He knows Zesty's close. It's not going to be enough, I don't think. Let's see elsewhere. We've got Pekka Koivunen with Onifus.
Yeah, Onifus just cutting off the nose of the car there to try to stay ahead. I don't think that's going to benefit him much longer because Pekka Koivunen will be able to use the slipstream around the corner here. He'll swing out wide to the outside, all the way out to the wall. You can carry a lot of speed around the outside of the first corner, and he might just clear Onifus on the way in. He does. He pulls much the same move that Onifus did on him coming around the front of the circuit, and that is a masterful and strong move around the outside of the first corner. As we look further back to another Fragmaster driver who nearly got a run up the rear wing by Mantis. Unfortunately, Mantis, in trying to avoid driving over the Fragmaster car, goes a little bit wide out of the corner in the grass and loses out to another one of the MRC drivers in this race, Happy D, who is now moving back up the order. And now lurking there for a 15th position that is still, well, it was a side-by-side fight just a moment ago, and probably will be again when they go into the Parabolica as we look ahead once more to Gabor. Fully in command and extending that gap over Neva. There, back to Unite one more time, who's up to 16th position from 40th on the grid. He'll have a job to do to get Finn UK on the outside here, but if he plays it smart, he will do just this, go wide, make a late exit here. And here he's got the advantage positioning the car, a nice wide entry into this corner, up over the curb onto the straightaway, and now we've got a 3-4-way slipstream coming around to the start-finish line on the 12th lap of the race.
Got a car in the pit lane. Who's that? That's Magrio going for a stop. Let's see what he does. Oh, he's got Mantas following in as well, so interesting. We've got some early pitters on lap number 11 for them. The leaders are on lap 12, but we've got races in the pit lane, so these two want to stick together and make something work there. Michael, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I'll try. We are currently watching Gabor leading with 3 and almost half seconds lead over Neva, then with Christian and TJ in 3rd and 4th. It's quite calm at the front, but I expect this to change as soon as we get to pit stops, because usually some of the guys make a mistake. They make a bad stop or get a drive-through for overspeeding, so that's something that can definitely shuffle the order at the front of the race. As we see Roger Chen leading Zeste, my friend from MRC, into the last sector of this track. let's see how they get on the brakes. Zesty is usually really good on brakes, as you can see, and he's really close, so I think he can have advantage. Entering the oval section, he seems to be close, so I think he should be capable of making the draft. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I've been watching your teammate Zesty, and he is, through the second half of the lap, he is nearly perfect. He is inch perfect through the long sweeping right-hand corner. He gets it right down to the white line, and he's getting such a good exit out of the final chicane. Now he definitely has the slipstream on Roger Chen. I think he's a little bit too far back to pull him coming into turn one, but Roger Chen doesn't have the advantage of the slipstream by TJ. Now Zesty slowly pulling him in. I don't think he'll be close enough to make a move on this lap, but he is inching ever closer lap by lap. Oh, Roger Chen a little bit early on the brakes there. You can see Zesty make up 10, maybe 15 meters on braking. Yeah, Zesty is on fire.
Yeah, I suspect Zesty has way more downforce than guys around him because he's struggling to keep up on the straight, but he's so good on braking and cornering, so I think he has more grip at the expense of slower top speed.
Another car in the pit lane. It's Trespasser electing for an early stop. He's returned actually to racing. He's not been around for a while, and he's done tyres, fuel, and damage repair. So a lot going on that car. No sign of the top guys pitting just yet. Gabor's extended his lead slightly over Neva on this lap. Christian is still there. Very, very strong performance from Christian, as always. He's pretty formidable in the FOX. Fox in Live for Speed. And this is promising. We've got a three-way fight developing and another three-way fight behind. So pretty close all the way down to about P7. And then we've got a few gaps emerging.
Yeah, looking to Zesty again. He is just heroic on the brakes in that final double left-hander before they come back onto the oval. And he's about the same distance back he was on the previous lap. Yeah, Gabor has checked out in the front, and second and third position are strung out. And this is definitely our closest fight among the leaders on the circuit. I feel like Zesty has the pace in the middle of the circuit, but Michael, you're exactly right. I think he's definitely carrying more downforce. Doesn't quite have the top speed, but if he can just get there with the slipstream, maybe work the pit strategy, he might be able to leapfrog a couple positions here if he gets a really good stop.
Yeah, as you say, and after another guy pits, Texas is promoted into P13, as he's quite lonely currently in between Pirapo and his teammate Happy D.
Yeah, and we've got our first bit of traffic that we're going to have. Gabor is coming up to a back marker, and that will be the first time that's happened this race, as far as I know. It is Trespasser who's just come out of the pits, so Trespasser will probably be a little bit heavier on fuel, potentially, than Gabor, so this could be interesting. I don't think he's going to make it particularly difficult for Gabor. The drivers here are pretty experienced. We don't tend to see many issues with lapping.
Yeah. And an amusing mention about Trespasser is that he appealed to you, Peter, before the race to avoid giving him a commentator's curse. We look at Strutter going side by side with Adam in the TC racing machine. A Trespasser who asked us not to give him a commentator's curse, but seems to have had a little difficulty all on his own. We didn't need to give him any help.
Yeah,
He's pretty far down the grid right now. Yeah, nothing to do with us. We've called attention to Trespasser after the work is already done, so not our fault today. Shame for him because he is such a strong driver. As we look at Adam coming down to the inside of oval turn 3, final corner of the Kyoto National Reverse Circuit, with mirrors full of that blue and black Fragmaster machine. Adam is not going to hold this position for very long, and there is something you don't want to see. That is 2 Fragmaster cars in your mirrors on an oval circuit. Obviously, running around at the national circuit today, lots of road course infield here, but plenty of oval, and the Fragmaster drivers, the strongest there are in Live for Speed on oval racing. Adam better believe that those two will be working together very well to try to get past him once they come into contact.
Oh!
So, as we go into the first corner, Adam able to defend that position, goes across the nose of Strutter behind him, but Onifus making up time will be on the scene in just a few laps' time.
Yeah, while that was going on, Travis, Onifus and I think it was Propo came together. Again, I couldn't contain my excitement. You were talking about Fragmaster's cars being great on the oval, and then I saw one of them going sideways into turn 2, so just wanted to mention that.
No worse for wear. Off they go as we look to Gabor once more. Still very much in control. This gap not growing too much. He's extended it to 4 seconds. Another 1.5 back to Christian. But this fight right here has now closed up. TJ has managed to get into the slipstream as Christian. So we have a fight once again for third. Christian very much there. You can see him from this onboard shot. Pulling in the slipstream. He'll want to wait, hang around in line, time this so that they can work together and maximize the slipstream trading positions coming around the oval so they can try to make up a little bit of ground on Neva ahead of them. You're going to need to do a few laps of this to get anywhere near Neva because Neva is 1.5 seconds up the road, but every little bit helps. If they can work together, they can make up the time. But going side by side like they're doing right now, great shot down over turn 1. Both of them still side by side. Once again, racing driver mentality, fighting for position rather than working together. They could be working on second position with one another, but instead they'll let Neva extend that gap a little bit more.
Yeah, as you say, the gap is growing. Gabor now has over 4 seconds lead over Neva, and TJ is already 6 seconds behind, so they really have to start to make things differently, because at this point Gabor and Neva can make some small mistakes and still stay in front.
You are watching Fragmaster's Fox Friday here on Sim Broadcast. Whether you're watching on Twitch or YouTube, thank you very much for joining us. This is the first of 7 of the rounds we're going to be covering towards the end of the year, 1 a month, alongside Fragmaster's other series, their GTI Thursday series. You can check out our calendar at simbroadcasts.tv for all of the broadcasts that we are going to be doing this year. So yeah, we're very, very glad to be invited along to cover the Fox Friday series. And yeah, 16 laps in, we're enjoying this immensely, helped of course by the awesome track that is Kyoto National Reversed in Live for Speed. We're watching Zesty now coming through the final set of corners before start finish. And yeah, he's still pretty close to Roger Chen, but does he have that slipstream on this occasion? I'd say not.
There's a question for you guys. Would you, I guess this is a 2-part question, can you, I can't remember, if you can change wing angles on this car in a pit stop, and
yes.
If you could, if you were Zesty, Michael, would you take downforce off the car and try to make it work a little bit better in a straight line, or do you think he's pretty happy with it and he just races for 5th or 6th?
Well, that depends on at which point of the race he intends to make the pit stop, because as far as I remember, the setup change takes, I think, 3 seconds, so something like that. So you have to make sure that you make up that time if you make the change. So if he's expecting to do a late pit stop in the race, it wouldn't be beneficial. If he pits now, I think it should be beneficial to change the setup for less downforce, but I don't know his strategies, so we can only speculate.
Another close fight on circuit here. Onifus right behind Pekka Koivunen. A little bit of cheeky buff drafting coming through here. That's a bit risky, because if you put any steering lock on, the car really wants to come around. Trying to do a reprisal of the accident they had in turn 2. They came together. Everybody got away without too much damage, but it has brought this fight a little bit closer into contention. Looking down at Texas now into that Red Bull livery, going to send it up the inside here. Thinks better of it, falls into line. He'll use the slipstream when they come around through the final chicane and back onto the oval circuit. Texas should have a big run with 2 cars ahead of him, punching a hole in the air, and he might just be able to get in contact with his teammate. That's Happy D with the red wings on the dark gray livery there. There we can see Texas falling into line. Onifus behind him. Once again, Fragmaster drivers very strong around the oval. If they could work together with Onifus, they could probably get pulled around and make up plenty of time. There we go. Texas lets him through. Onifus gains a little speed from the slipstream. He'll get right up behind Pekka Koivunen, and now he and Texas should be able to breeze by coming around turn 1 of the road course.
Awesome stuff.
There's contact.
Oh, big impact between those two. That was Pekka Koivunen and Texas. Oh my goodness me! We just caught the beginning of that. The camera was too tight, but unusual incident there, and that sees Pekka Koivunen with a whole heap of damage that he's going to want to repair, I think. And Unite's made up a place because of that. He's up to P13, Travis, now.
Yeah, amazing from Unite, just making up positions by exploiting the bad luck of his competitors falling by the wayside around him. That looked like Texas went to the inside. It was a perfectly fair move. Looked like he was going to the inside, and I don't think Pekka Koivunen saw him going on the inside to make it 3 wide, and just drifted down the racetrack. It looked like Pekka Koivunen came across the white line, didn't realize that Texas was there, and then that's that. Texas loses a couple positions, Pekka Koivunen a few more, but it does, as you said, Pete, does benefit Unite, and from 40th on the grid, he is up to 13th and lurking there, not far behind Onifus.
I think we know who will be the climber of the race, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
so
definitely.
that is true. There are high climber points available in this series. So if you start really far down, you get points if you are the person who finishes with the highest gain in points. And at the moment, I don't think it's possible for anyone to be a higher climber than Unite.
Yeah, I'm looking up and down the order to see if there's anyone else who might have climbed more positions, and yeah, I don't think there's anyone. Yeah, I don't think there's anyone even close to the number of positions gained over Unite. If he can stay where he is, I mean, he could afford to lose a few positions at that point. As woohoo, looked like that was about to be a dive on Texas. I think Doctor was a little bit late on the brakes there. Thought that was going to be another collision, but Texas drives away unabated. Doctor, the Road Appraiser driver, falls in the line behind. Unfortunate for Texas, but he is able to continue without taking as much damage as Pekka Koivunen did a few laps ago.
If he went for the dive there, that would have been a bigger dive than Felix Baumgartner, Travis.
Yeah. Brilliant, Pete.
Fragmaster unfortunately has retired. That makes the number of retirements from around 23 9 so far. With so many cars and so much unpredictability, that's about normal. I mean, we've lost almost a quarter of the field within 20 laps. These races are a race of attrition. This car is, even though it's mostly flat out around here, there are a lot of drivers, and it is difficult to keep your nose clean. Adam is having some slight overconfidence in the chat, having just said he thinks he could have gone for R1s. And if we look at our tyre graphic, no one else has currently done that except drop signs down in P30. So that would have been brave. What do you reckon, boys?
Yeah, that would have been awfully brave. The everyone running on R2s, and as I look up and down the order to inspect the condition of their tires, they are. Bar a few drivers who've had recent spins or excursions in the dirt, they all appear to be in perfect working order. So, yeah, I think R1 would have been really optimistic.
Yeah, but actually for the Formula BMW, the R1s are the preferred tire on this kind of tracks. But yeah, the Formula XR is much faster and there's more pressure on those tires. So I think R2 is definitely the race star tonight.
Yeah, it's one interesting aspect of this car that I really enjoy about it, and I suspect is one of the things that all of these other drivers really enjoy about it, is the car is light enough, has just enough power, and the balance of downforce is just right that you can get a little bit of wheel spin. And yeah, R2's the tire of choice for sure, because a little bit of wheel spin on R1s would make this car, everybody runs these cars on the ragged edge of grip because they're so close. The drivers are so close in talent, and the cars are so close in performance that if you get the margins just a little bit wrong, an aggressive strategy on R1 could go south very quickly if you light up those tires.
Yeah, we've got a battle developing here between Twin Cam and Beppo. And this could be a three-way fight developing, because we've got Tango just ahead as well, who appears to have had a pretty good exit. So I think that immediately neutralizes any threat. Oh no, Twin Cam's going in the pits. He almost took Beppo with him, but Twin Cam is going into the pit lane. So that is just before halfway. Here he comes. Meanwhile, we have Fatal v Mantas. Apparently, you found something further up, Travis.
Yeah, so Fatal going inside Mentis right there as Roger Chen now has Zesty right there behind him. Roger Chen's going to go a little bit wide. Zesty, once again, a perfect exit out of this corner. If he gets a good run out of here, he's been so good on the brakes here, going wide, braking all the way down to the apex. He gets the car slowed down so well, using the rear of the car to turn through the second of the left-handers. And if he can get tight to the tires here, a little bit wide, but Roger Chen doesn't get it quite right either. I think Zesty, oh no, Roger Chen, it's the downforce, Michael. You're exactly right. Roger Chen, though he didn't get as good an exit through the corner as Zesty did, he's able to carry just a little bit more speed. There's not that much power, not much torque in these cars, and that small difference in downforce is all he needs to be able to pull Zesty when they come out of the final corner.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I was the stay, I would pit now, no matter what the strategy is, and change the setup. But I think if he's running with 100% of fuel from the beginning, then he's going to stick with the strategy. But that's only the speculation.
Yeah, there we can see once again, like how well the downforce works in the infield. I think you called it perfectly earlier on. He's able to get right here behind Roger Chen in the infield, but then, Roger just able to eke out the tiniest advantage when they come onto the fastest part of the circuit. Zesty a little bit closer this time. I think, Michael, I would say if he's going to make this work, he has to do it here. He needs to do it here in the infield. He needs to get right behind Roger Chen coming into the Parabolica up ahead. I don't think he wants to try to make a move here. He wants to do this, go wide, get nice and tight, a good run on the exit, and he wants to pass coming into this sequence of bends, the double left-hander up ahead.
That's true, but I expect that as soon as he makes the pass, which is going on right now, I think the Roger Chen will pass him on the oval section as soon as they get there. So yeah, this is only a temporary change of positions. Look how close they are, and Zesty is absolutely defenseless. And I think there's nothing he can do. He's going wide, so I think he's going to cooperate and switch back on the straight and then see who gets better into the first major braking zone.
Yeah, I think he's done this a little bit early, would you say? I think he wanted to stay behind and get the move into turn one so that he can then extend the advantage over the infield. So I guess we'll see if he's able to defend into turn one.
I think as long as he gets ahead out of turn one, he should be ahead. Yeah, he's ahead, and I think he can now get away really quickly. And if he maintains the gap before they get to the wall again, I think there's somebody on the grass.
Yeah, and he's got the power down. He's getting the power down so early in these corners too, like the downforce working perfectly for him, and you can see him just extend coming out of this corner. Michael, I think he has done this perfectly. I think he's pulled a blinder using the slipstream to get pulled around to turn one, and now he can use this sequence of bends maybe to just get out of slipstream range.
Yeah, but I think Roger Chen is still too close, and I am concerned. Yeah, as we watch Piropov going side by side with Strutter in the sections of the circuit, they are entering the fast right-hander. They're going side by side. Strutter almost 3 wide. As who is that? That's Happy D trying to go around outside, but slots behind. Now they are into the slipstream battle. Maybe again 3 wide. Now Happy D is sensible and stays behind. So this will be a great slipstreaming battle on the oval part, unless somebody crashes or goes wide, which almost was the case. But let's see who will be ahead in the first turn. Happy D is in perfect position now to get 2 places.
Yeah, he is certainly as he comes on to the oval. They've lost a little bit of time there to Piroppo, while Strutter was going for a send up the inside into the final complex. But yeah, as we come across the start-finish line, these guys, this will be lap 24 that they're beginning now. Happy D, is he close enough to get both of them here? I think he is. He's got a good run. Oh, they're weaving around. Happy D goes low, puts a wheel on the apron. That's dangerous. He's completely on the apron now, and that will slow him down. Will Piroppo be able to get him back before turn 2? Oh, they've got to be careful in their mirrors. This could have been a repeat of the Pekka Koivunen incident before. But luckily, they managed to get through. But a double gain there for Happy D, and Strutter still side by side. into turn 4.
Sorry, Pete, I got to interrupt you. Up ahead of these guys, Zesty, I watched Zesty all the way around, who held that position around that lap. Roger Chen was not able to catch him, and you might see that Roger Zesty, that Zesty and Roger Chen are now ahead of Christian, who fell back. I don't know why. He had a slight off. It wasn't very bad. He didn't go spinning out of the way. But Zesty has pulled a blinder on Roger Chen to stay ahead using the pace through the infield. And now Christian has inexplicably dropped back. Zesty's up to 4th.
Yeah, well spotted. Didn't see what happened there. We could consult the replay and find out, but it looks just like it's been a mistake, maybe off onto the gravel. Texas has been spectated by the InSim for a reason that we are going to try and find out. We believe it's lag related, so potential network issues there for Texas, which is unfortunate because he was quite hurt, wasn't he? Yeah, he was. So yeah, unfortunate for him. We are on lap 25 of 45, and it's Sidus Gabor who leads the way by 7.7 seconds over TJ. Then it's Furia's M. Neva, Marcelo Neva, who is definitely gaining on the Road Appraiser man here. I feel like that gap has come down since the last time we were looking at it. Unless I'm
mistaken. Need to keep an eye. Yeah, I think you're right, and we'll need to keep an eye on it. Christian might have had something. No, Christian was in 3rd. TJ's been running. I don't remember now. Maybe we can check. I don't know if Furia was ahead, or Neva was ahead of Christian or not. But that Christian falling back could have had something to do with Neva catching up to TJ. But Zesty, looking to Zesty once more, he is comfortably ahead of Roger Chen. Roger Chen not able to make any headway. He's far enough away that he can't get the slipstream on the oval. But Zesty has a problem, which is that he's not going to be able to catch Neva without Neva making an egregious mistake. He'll need to let Roger Chen catch up to him so they can work together in the slipstream, but I doubt he's going to want to do that. He had to work really hard to get that position, and now he is completely lost. If he has a train of faster cars with less downforce working together behind him, he'll have all that work to do again and then some if he has to fight 3 cars for this position. So I think, Michael, I think we've enjoyed a very lively conversation about your teammate for the last 10 laps or so. I think he just has to stick with this and hope for the best that Neva and TJ will come together ahead of him and maybe swipe 3rd or 2nd when somebody else makes a mistake. I don't think he can drive up there himself, and I don't think he wants to concede any track position to work together with someone behind him.
I know this, and the last thing he would do would be dropping back to driver he was working hard for 20 laps to get past. So I think he is just waiting to see if Neva and TJ would fight hard enough to drop back to him. But I totally don't expect him to drop back to Roger Chen intentionally.
Interesting. So Mo told us in our ears that Neva let TJ by. So TJ given 2nd by Neva. Neva wants the tow. I guess wants to work together to try to catch Gabor. But Pete, Michael, I don't see that happening.
No, neither do I. I think that is the case. We're watching Igor at the moment, who looks like he might be in a bit of a position to go for a move on Christian on the oval if he can get a good exit. He's been there or thereabouts all race long, currently in P7. I don't think he's going to be close enough actually in the end. Christian did get it all hooked up. Yeah, I don't think Igor's going to have a chance there, but yeah, good point. Michael, what do you reckon?
He's too far at this point. To be honest, the race is already in 2/3 almost, so I think any cooperation between TJ and Neva, it's too late to catch Gabor now, so I think if they get together, they will be fighting more likely than cooperating.
Speaking of these two, Neva, though Gabor is now well ahead, can't even see the cars chasing him in the background of the shot when we watch him go through the corner. Neva is now right there with TJ. If Neva gets a good run through these first few bends in the infield and a little bit of help from a back marker, you can see a white car ahead of these guys. I think we have another fight on our hands among the leaders. This will be for P2. Ooh, TJ, a lot of wheel spin on the throttle a little bit too eagerly coming out of the right-hander. And now Neva, plenty of overspeed, able to catch able to catch TJ on the merits of his exit from the corner, and also benefiting from the slipstream. Really good run, just touches the curb on the inside. You want to get just over the white line, touch the curb, help the car turn in a little bit, but not put too much on the curb and spin up the rear wheels. Neva is right there coming onto the oval.
Yeah, this is terrible time for TJ to catch the back marker. This will compromise his drive through these turns, and Neva is absolutely expected to get by slipstream. But I have no idea how it will come out in the first braking zone, as I expect them to swap positions violently a few times before they get there. TJ now drops back. I can see him in the mirrors, but I expect him to be alongside anytime soon. Yeah, they are already side by side as they are entering lap 28, and it's almost revived with the back marker. But TJ
these two have no choice but to work together now. They can't run side by side into the first corner if they want any hope of fighting with Gabor, but they're going to go side by side. One of them has to give. Neither one of them wants to. And we do this once again. TJ side by side with another car coming into the first corner, and I think this is an episode we've seen before, guys. These two racing, or some drivers chasing Gabor racing and just feeding his gap.
Yeah, this is an unhealthy situation if you want to get the win, especially when the guy leading is Sidus Gabor. TJ is a multiple-time, 3-time Fox Friday champion overall during the season, and currently P2 with a 9-second gap, battling hard with Neva. And I feel like it won't be too much of a stretch to imagine that his days in P2 might be numbered, because Neva's looking racy. Remember, they might be on slightly differing strategies. We don't know how much fuel they've got in, but they're going pretty deep into this race, Travis and Michael. It's going to be tight. Depends whoever pits first. I reckon is going to be the one in trouble.
Yeah, and TJ's gotten a rotten run of luck with the back markers. A little bit better this time around, but this time he won't get the benefit of the slipstream. He was too far back to catch a sniff of the draft on the way out of the final corner, and then the back marker gets well up the banking and out of the way. So might have caught a little bit of extra speed working together with a 3-car train, but instead the slower car dutifully out of the way. And these two, I think, will once again go side by side into the first corner. That's my prediction. 10 seconds before they arrive on the scene, instead of trading positions and going line astern around the circuit to do this another 15, 16 times while they still have laps on the counter.
Yeah, Neva almost lost it into the turn 2, but he stays ahead of TJ for now. I expect TJ to stay close and try to get by at the oval section again. But yeah, I think in the long term, Neva is probably going to stay ahead of TJ and finish in P2 unless something terrible happens to him.
Yeah, and I think looking at these two now and kind of comparing to the gap Zesty had to Roger Chen earlier, Neva is looking a little bit cleaner. TJ misses the apex of that long sweeping right-hander there, goes a little bit wide. That'll give Neva a slight advantage coming into the braking zone here. I think Neva might be far enough away that he's broken the draft now, though he gets a very awkward, very late entry into the corner. TJ late on the brakes, keeps the car nice and tight. If he can get a good run here out of the final corner, he might just have a breath of the slipstream. I think Neva's gotten the job done. I think that's that. I think TJ is relegated to third, and Neva is comfortably in second now.
Yeah, the gap is too big, and now I think TJ just has empty hands when it comes to weapons to get back to Neva.
Yeah, that is job done as we go across start-finish for the 30th time. And, Neva's through. Will he pit sooner than TJ? TJ is massively experienced in the Fox, so it's not over for him for sure. Anything can happen. We've still got 16 laps to go. There's definitely some drama going on in the background because we've got some back markers coming into play. This is going to be affecting the rhythm of some of our drivers. It's certainly affecting the Zesty Roger Chen battle. That gap has gone up slightly, and Christian now has to navigate our back marker too. So that is Carrera doing a good job of getting out of the way.
Yeah, very well behaved by all the back markers we've seen. The leaders able to get through very cleanly. A bit of bad luck by TJ a few laps ago, but that was no fault of the back marker. He just caught him in an awkward spot. Very good racing among the leaders. The back markers haven't played into it at all, other than to to shake it up a little bit by giving us a few more cars to see as the leaders go sailing through. As we watch Fatal stop in his pit box from 18th position, off and away very quickly. That looked like a fuel-only stop. And we look ahead to Gabor once more, well in command of this race, 2/3 of the way through. Yeah, Neva just heard in my ear. I looked to Zesty and saw him in 3rd position, and I was very confused, right as Chris said in my ear that Neva had spectated.
As well as
don't know
Piroppo.
why.
Yeah.
And Piroppo spectated.
I mean,
okay.
this has been
well,
a
there you
theme,
go, Michael.
Travis.
Yeah, your teammate's on the podium now. How about
Yeah.
that?
I will cheer the moment he crosses the finish line, but so far it looks promising. But I'm wondering what happened to Neva, because he has an amazing race so far.
Yeah, Chris is checking the replay for us. I don't want this to be a theme because Neva has spectated from a couple of races in recent times, and well, he was in such a good position, P2. We need to find out what happened. So Chris is going to go away and find out what happened to both Neva and Piroppo. But a definite shame there because Neva worked so hard to get up to P2. So I hope whatever happened, it doesn't affect him going forward. But yeah, TJ, he can breathe a sigh of relief after that one, Travis.
I don't know that he can because Zesty is slowly catching him. That gap down to 2.2 seconds. Zesty was ignoring Gabor for a second. I think we can casually forget about Gabor, the consistent leader of all races in Live for Speed. Zesty is the quickest through the first sector and has been, and he is ever so slightly pulling TJ. So Zesty making the downforce in the infield work. I'm a little surprised to find that that a little more downforce through the infield actually carries an advantage all the way around the circuit. But it's definitely working. Zesty gave up 400ths through the second split, and he'll give up a little bit of time around the third. But yeah, Zesty pulling TJ in slightly.
Yeah, looks like more downforce is better for the overall uptime, but in a race you want to have easy overtakes, and with a lot of downforce you are going to overtake in the turns rather than on straights, so that's why Zesty had so hard time getting ahead.
Unite is having a fight with Doctor. Sorry, Travis, take it away.
No, that's perfectly fine. I was about to mention that that Unite has found himself up in 11th position from 40th on the grid. He's got a bit more work to do. He has a fight on his hands for 11th. It is now 12th once again, but he'll be able to hang around in this slipstream. And is that, Pete, is that 10th position ahead of these two?
Yeah, Onifus is currently occupying P10, and Unite might have a shot at P10 right now. Look at the speed that he's gaining up to Onifus now. That is amazing. Watching from that camera angle, you can just see how much you can gain in Onifus. Well, you won't have any defense, I don't think.
No, he timed the slingshot perfectly coming across the line. He'll have the inside coming into the corner. Onifus defending it very hard, making the road very narrow for Unite. But there he goes, 40th on the grid from a bewildering qualifying lap all the way up to a top 10. An amazing drive from Unite. And at the rate he caught these two and got away, I expect he'll be able to extend the gap enough that Onifus won't have the slipstream, and he can set off in pursuit of Strutter in ninth. I think that might be a tall order. That looks to be 3 or 4 seconds up the road, but hell of a job by Unite from 40th up to 10th in the standings. That is an amazing drive.
Well, dream scenario would be if Onifus can keep up with him and help him out down the oval, because there's huge gap.
Yeah, not
between...
going wide in the grass like that.
Yeah, as well. So I don't think Onifus is going to be able to do this. As Unite goes slightly wide. Let's see. Will Onifus be anywhere near? We're going to have to cut to the front because we've got side-by-side action for P3. Zesty, as someone predicted, I can't remember if it was you, Travis, he's under threat now from Roger Chen.
Yeah, he had a bad exit out of the final corner. He had kind of a ragged lap all the way around, actually. And it looks like maybe the rear of the car not working very well. These tires are getting a little bit long in the tooth, and a couple bad exits, a little bit of difficulty with the car that appears to be somewhat worse than it was earlier in the race. He's very ginger into the corner, later on the throttle than he has been on earlier laps. And now, he's got Christian and Roger Chin to worry about behind him, whereas he had a comfortable gap just a couple laps ago.
Yeah, you mentioned Christian, and Christian's appeared in this battle, and now we have a three-way fight for the podium out of nowhere. And don't discount Igor from this either. Igor, seriously talented driver. This could be a four-way fight before the pit stops happen. They're going to happen at some point soon, but we're going to enjoy this in the meantime. Michael, take it away. This is going to be thrilling.
Yeah, we are into the heartbreaking zone. As always, Zesty goes hard. They almost make a contact, but he stays ahead, but has a poor exit, and he will be giving slipstream to Rodgen and the other two guys behind as well, I think. So, there's Christian going into the pit lane, so now it's Zesty and Rodgen going side by side. Zesty goes wide and swoops back behind Rodgen to make the draft and try to repass him before the end of the straight. As he's closing now, goes to the inside, they are side by side again. Zesty so far sticks to the third place, but let's see who goes better into the major braking zone in turn 2. I think it will be Zesty who goes ahead at the end of this sector, but let's see, they are side by side, Zesty on the inside, Roger on the outside. That was very close, and Roger Chen makes incredible pass or around the outside and sticks it ahead of Zesty as there's somebody spinning, making way, and Zesty is now back where he was 20 laps ago and has to fight back.
Travis, you love to see that.
I do love to see that. And while I was listening to Michael call the action there, I got to watch Igor just slowly catch these two. They had to navigate the back markers. They all got yellow flags because one of the slower cars had jumped out of the way, well to the inside of the circuit, but enough to cause a yellow flag, which will get anyone's attention. Oh! Roger Chin puts a wheel on the grass. I'm watching from Igor's point of view. Igor saw Roger Chin nearly loop it to the right side of the circuit. Roger somehow managed to catch that, but that allows Zesty to catch right up behind him. He's right under the rear wing. Zesty, after a couple laps of struggling, gets a great run out of the final chicane. And now this is going to be a three-way fight. Igor, not close enough to benefit from the slipstream, dives to the inside of the circuit. Yeah, we'll need to keep an eye on Igor and Christian to see how much time they can make up with pit stops. Those two fighting have definitely slowed one another down and allowed Christian and Igor to get closer. So a lot to play for. Third position still up for grabs with 4 drivers who look like they might be able to come away with it. Roger Chen still in third. Zesty motivated. He had that third position on lock and then gave it up after one kind of mistake-prone lap. And now, it's a 4-way fight. There's plenty of time left in this race. Anyone could come away with the final podium spot.
It's poignant that you mentioned the 2 cars that went into the pits, because obviously they're going to be putting fuel in, and you don't want to be putting fuel in when you were just about in a fight with 2 other cars, because you're going to drop down. So I think it's advantage to Roger and Zesty at this point. This is the fight for the podium, I think.
Yeah, sorry, Pete. I just watched Igor come out of the pits comfortably ahead of Christian. Christian's going to be a little bit lighter on fuel, though he comes over the curb there, gets kind of a bad exit with one wheel out in the grass. So Igor, he needs to get a good run through the hairpin here. He does, a little bit wide. Christian didn't carry as much speed through, so Igor's got the job done over Christian. That's 1 spot for him, and now we need to keep an eye on the 2 cars ahead of him. Roger Chen, Zesty. Igor could pull a blinder here and snatch third position if these 2 keep fighting and get a bad pit stop.
Yeah, I think it's a tall order, but we'll see. I think Roger's got this wrapped up. I think that Zesty might have a distant tow. Michael, what do you think?
I think this is too far. We can see that he's struggling to even keep up with Roger Chen, and it's the concern I had that with the amount of downforce he has, he is not able to keep up and make the advantage of the good exit onto the oval part. And I think he's not going to catch him even into the braking zone, so he has to spend another lap behind him unless Roger Chen makes a mistake.
I'll talk up your teammate. We know from E-Challenge that he is so strong late in the race, and he is so smart in where he chooses to make passes and where he positions the car. That's we look back to Happy D, who has had an excursion into the grass. Don't know if he had any help there, but he's off and going again. Your teammate Zesty, so good late in the race. And if he can, he will remember the move he pulled earlier coming into the final sequence of corners before they go through the final chicane. I think he knows he can make the move there and then get a strong exit, use the slipstream to retake the position coming into the first corner, the second corner rather, coming back into the infield. He still has a shot at third position and taking it from Roger Chen, but he needs to be perfect in the infield with the downforce penalty he's carrying.
Yeah, let's not forget that it took him like 10 laps or so to get it right one time, so I think it won't be instant overtake, and he will struggle until there will be the round of pit stops, and then it will be about who puts what fuel in. So that's my prediction for this fight.
I think that is a solid prediction.
Well, Adam's being caught here. I don't know. I think Adam hasn't done his pit stop yet, and he's got Igor and Christian catching up. Adam's not had a great lap either. So Adam could come into play here as well if he decides to fight with these guys. But I don't honestly think that Igor or Christian have any sort of shot now at the podium, unless either Roger or Zesty have a slightly dodgy pit stop. Gabor is over 10 seconds ahead now as we enter the closing stages of round 23 of Fox Friday in 2023. A mega job so far from him.
So we were just looking at Gabor, the Sidus driver at the front. Another Sidus driver worth mentioning that we have mentioned a couple times already is Unite. Unite up to 8th position, and he is ahead of everyone but the leaders who are cycling through pit stops. So I don't think Unite has anything for Christian. He will have to stop and take fuel, even if he could do I don't know if the rules dictate that they have to make a stop, but the fuel wouldn't go long enough anyway, so he has to come in and take a splash. But he has driven past everyone except the leaders. He is about 3 or 4 seconds behind Christian. Again, won't be able to take that position unless Christian makes a mistake. But 40th to 8th. Unbelievable drive from Unite to go from the very back up to 8th position.
Absolutely, that's 32 places advantage, and he so far made absolutely no mistakes and is running flawlessly, and I think that he totally deserves the highest climber award for this race.
Ahead of Unite, Igor has caught Adam. So Adam, another one of the drivers who has not stopped yet. As we watch, speaking of drivers who have stopped, there's Gabor, who has stopped and is now out of pit lane. Gabor will be well ahead of Adam. Zesty, Roger, and TJ have gone through. But now we can see this is Igor going by Adam. Adam will drop back when he has to stop. I mentioned just a minute ago that Unite is behind all of the leaders who are cycling through pit stops, but he may yet have a fight with Adam. These two good friends. Unite might be able to take a 7th position when Adam stops. So, yeah, Unite, one more position on the cards for him. Once again, just incredible drive. Adam, very tight racing by these two. Igor having to fight for it. Adam not giving it up, even though he's going to fall further back. A little bit of contact side to side when these two came out of the corner there. Igor having to fight tooth and nail to get this position away from Adam. Adam really has nothing to gain here because he's going to fall back with pit stops, and this is making life very hard for Igor, who wants to get away from Christian. And Christian just lurking behind, waiting for these two to come together and spin off. If he can avoid doing any of the work himself, he gladly will. Igor, I think, is going to be a little bit frustrated here.
Yeah, I mean, Christian's going to be loving that, but Igor's going to be very frustrated. Adam's on a different strategy. Adam's perfectly entitled to defend
Pete.
that. Yeah.
Sorry, Pete. Roger Chen and Zesty in the pits, line astern, right up against one another. Zesty's going to stop into box first, jumps in the first one. That might be an advantage. Roger Chen slows down and then speeds up to try to find a box later in the pit lane. TJ pits from the lead, is driving away just as Roger Chen stops. Zesty might have it here. Zesty going to go on the inside close to the garages, and he will have the slipstream. He'll be right behind Roger Chen on the way out. Your teammate has a shot here, Michael.
Yeah, I think this is the last opportunity he has, and I think he will just send it and hope for the best.
Sorry, these two are going to be fighting when they come back on circuit. Christian and Igor are fighting with one another. Igor is going to go to the outside of Christian coming into the final corner. Guys, we got lots of fighting. A great fight among all of these drivers on the final lap. Sliding on the way through the corner there. Christian right behind Igor. Igor manages to hold the position, and as they go side by side ahead of these two into the hairpin, Zesty looking to get by Roger Chen, but has to tuck in behind as they come out of this corner. Backmarker jumping out of the way. Guys, we could not have hoped for better than this. Tons of great fighting as the race winds down.
Yeah, or winds up, depending on which way you look at it. Here's we got Christian going for Igor. This is all thanks to Adam, remember, who's now pitted. He's come out behind Donny, just ahead of Happy D as we go side by side. No room between these two at all. Testament to their driving there. There was barely any gap. There's still barely any gap between these two as we run into the final sector. That's incredible racing, and Igor still managing to hold up Christian, but it's all going to change because here we go onto the oval for the 39th time.
And Zesty's ahead of these guys. Zesty has gotten great drive out of the corner. I think Roger Chen, he is just inside the slipstream, so we're going to have to watch two fights here. Zesty is just close enough. He's pulled out so he can time this coming around the oval. I think Zesty, Michael, your teammate's done it. He pulls to the inside. He can hold the inside line, use the extra downforce, hold the position coming through the final corner, and then he just needs to drive away coming through the infield. Roger Chen will need to send this around the outside and pray that the car sticks if he wants to make this work.
Yeah,
come together, and he's off in the wall.
Yeah, that's exactly what I didn't want to see, but yeah, I hope that they can carry on. There might be some damage to the suspension, but yeah, this is the race effectively over for him, at least when it comes to podium. He's now in P6, and I think he will struggle very well with finishing it. It's 6 laps to go, so if there's a lot of damage to the suspension, he might go to the pits to repairs. I have no idea.
Yeah, it looked to me like Roger came out of the slipstream just a little bit too late. Obviously not intentional. These kind of things happen. It looked like he came out of the slipstream a little bit too late and just clipped the back of Zesty's car when he was coming out of the slipstream and then pitched him around. Real shame, because that was such a great fight. Zesty had it done on the pit stops. And then, unfortunately, just a slight tap unravels Zesty's race. Even so, hell of an effort from Zesty to be in that position, taking advantage from a couple cars spectating. I think he'll be frustrated. You two might be having a chat after the race, Michael. He should be pleased with that effort, regardless.
Yeah, I need to support him after the race. I'm sure he will be disappointed as we watch Beeple struggling getting back into the pits because he's out of fuel. I think if he had ever attended the E-Challenge event, he would know how to get into the finish.
I think he's going to make it. I want him to make it. This is a good effort. He's going to roll it into a box. He can't mess up the brakes. He's done it. And he'll be able to carry on.
Yeah,
that's
in
fantastic.
This car, I think you can bump around on the starter if you don't make it in this. Or no, can't. Does the Fox have a starter? Okay, the Fox does have a starter.
Oh, maybe you can't do that anymore.
Yeah, I can't remember which of the Formula cars have one and which one can't. There are more close fighting on the circuit as Dr. Christ to come through a couple of Fragmaster cars. These guys will have. That's Onifus or. That was Onifus ahead and Strutter behind. Yeah, it looked like Onifus had backed off to maybe let Strutter catch up to him. This is going to be a wild send into the first corner if he gets a breath of the slipstream of his teammate. Pinches him a little bit on the inside. Now has to do this around the outside. A little bit of contact. Somehow they avoid driving off the circuit. It looked like they were about to go straight into the gravel, but they managed to avoid collecting one another, though other drivers, that was Mantis has now caught up to all of these drivers who were, had wheels off in the grass. Looking ahead of these guys, Unite is catching Adam at a rate of knots, who himself is not too far behind Happy D, and Iron Donny has now caught up to Zesty. Still popping off everyone on circuit. Mantis thought about I thought Mantis was going to make a dive there, and now he might be able to follow on the inside. The car's going to wash wide. This looks like it might end in tears, guys.
This is going to end in tears, I'm going to call it. These guys are going to go onto the oval. There's two Fragmaster's teammates, Born to Race car ahead, and Dr. Feroda Praiser in the lead, and Fragmaster's fighting there pretty hard. That's Strutter going on the outside as we enter the oval again, and well, everything's going to change yet again, I think, as Unite's currently leading this group around. But there's a bit of backmarker traffic. I think that's Carrera again, who has to get out of the way. Mantas is also now in the Fragmaster sandwich.
And now going side by side once again. Mantas, I don't know if Mantas wants to be in this sandwich. I think if it were me, I would hang around as one of the slices of bread and wait for the bottom of the sandwich to go flying into the bin as they nearly come together. Oh, they do come together. Pinched into the wall. Oh, they're going to collect the back marker too. That looked like another example of a car just coming out of the slipstream too late. That was that Onifus or? Yeah, I think Onifus went a little bit wide into him. Didn't realize there wasn't as much space there as he thought, and then retires from the race after putting Mantas into the wall. Another unfortunate accident. Turn one, catching a lot of cars.
Yeah, I mean, an unfortunate time to pick up that camera angle. We didn't see quite what happened to one of us, but he's out.
Out and very unhappy about it. He had an unsavory message in chat. So, yeah, we guessed that some of the drivers who went out earlier might have been frustrated. Onifus, clearly so. I think he may have thoughts to share in the post race.
Well, you don't like to see that, especially so late into a drama-filled Fox Friday race. If you're just joining us and you're wondering what you're watching, then welcome along. This is Fragmaster's Fox Friday, live here on simbroadcasts.tv in Live for Speed. Thank you for joining us. We are a couple of laps away from the end before we are going to watch what seems to be the case, Sidus Gabor coming home for a comfortable victory. Of course, don't want to jinx it. We've still got some time to go. He's yet to do his pit stop. Oh no, in fact he has done his pit stop. Sorry, a while ago, and that was pretty clean. We didn't really see what happened. There was no drama, and he has a 12-second lead over 3 times Fox Friday champion TJ, who is, well, he has absolutely no reply today.
No, none. And though he had to earn second position earlier in the race, now he has it comfortably over these two, Roger Chen and Igor. Igor has caught up to Roger Chen, and we still have a fight for the podium. Looked like it was going to be, or might have been, Zesty earlier, though he had an incident with another driver. That would have been Christian, who is now ahead of him, but only by 1 second. Zesty may yet be able to reclaim a position there if he can string together a couple very strong laps. Yeah, one position to fight for, and that is Igor here on Roger Chen.
Yeah, but Igor seems to be too far at this point. There will be still 2 laps to go, so there's plenty of opportunity for Igor to get by, but it won't happen before the turn 1 here. He's... I think... Yeah, he's still too far. I was wondering why he was getting out of the slipstream, but he was too far anyway. And they are absolutely not going to go side by side into the braking zone, so let's see how they go into the twisty section of the track.
I don't think this is over at all. I don't think Roger can relax at all. Igor is on one. He's absolutely on a mission here, and his car seems to be in a better state. Christian's too far back, I think, to affect the podium battle at this stage, but we do have some action in the dying laps. Less than 2 laps to go here after 45 laps around Kyoto Ring National Reverse Team Live for Speed. One of the best tracks, in my opinion, in LFS. It has everything. It's got the massive oval for slipstreaming. It's got the technical infield section. It's a brilliant circuit. And in the Fox, it has proven to be a treat tonight. What another sensational round of racing we've had. Before this race ends, I do want to cast your minds back a week. If you haven't checked out the last third of the endurance last week, then I absolutely implore you to go and watch. It was a stunning finish, mainly involving Gabor and a certain other few drivers, but definitely go and watch. TJ as well involved. Go and watch that. But yeah, as we head on to the final lap, then we're watching Roger Chen trying to defend P3 from Igor. He's doing just enough at the moment, but he appears, Travis, to have got a good enough exit here.
Yeah, Igor is just on the cusp of the slipstream here. He might have it. It is ever so close. He might have. Yeah, I think he's going to have one more shot here as they come on to their final lap. We watch Gabor, who is now through the first sequence of corners in the infield on his final lap. Yeah, Igor will need to do this in the infield. The way he's been driving the car looks a bit like how zesty was when we were watching him earlier. I think Igor was really struggling with Igor and Roger Chen being right next to each other, and Zesty too. Igor, right here on Roger Chen, gets a great drive into the into turn 4. Igor will need to use the slipstream in the infield as we watch Iron Dunny coming by Happy D. Those two, a fight for 7th position, fights up and down the order. Yeah, Igor right under the rear of Roger Chen's car, so this isn't over yet. He'll need to get right there when they come into the final corners of the infield before he has another shot. Oh, he's going to make a dive on the inside of the Parabolica here. He may have done it too early, though. Roger Chen is going to go a little bit wide. He manages to keep it inside the confines of the circuit. We'll keep an eye on this as we pick up Gabor. Michael, why don't you take him to the line? Your first event, bring Gabor home.
Yeah, we are watching Gabor taking the very last turn. There are no more braking zones, and he's going to win the Fox Friday at Kyoto National Reversed. He crosses the finish line with a lot of time. I think it's over 10 seconds ahead of the second place TJ. I think it was TJ. Yeah, he crosses the line now 11.8 seconds ahead. And now in the battle for the top 3, Roger Chen stay ahead of Igor, who finishes in 4th place.
Behind these guys, Christian caught them a ton in the waning laps. He finished only a 2.5 seconds behind Igor, less than that, 1.2 seconds behind Igor. So Christian out of nowhere late in the race. I think Iron Dunny is going to hold on to 7th position. He's a little bit too far ahead of Happy D for Happy D to have any influence. So we'll need to keep an eye further back to see if Unite made any headway on Adam, because that race was getting closer too. I think Adam is going to come across the line in 8th, though. There we go. Iron Dunny, Happy D in 8th. Sorry, Adam in 9th. Unite in 10th from 40th on the grid. Amazing job by Unite to gain 30 positions today. As we watch more drivers filter in. Strutter, one of the Fragmaster drivers, in 11th. 12th to Ghost Doctor. Grillo was across the line in 14th. Fatal in 13th. More drivers coming through across the start-finish line. Now RD2 in 15th. And we'll watch for a few more to trickle in while we round out our thoughts on the race. Peter, Michael, that was a wild one. Kind of quieted down as as drivers were approaching pit stops, and then all popped off in the final 10 laps.
Yeah, it did indeed. Thank you very much, Travis, for joining us. I know it wasn't necessarily planned, as we have some pile-ups going on into turn 1. That is everybody. But yeah, before we run down the results, fantastic. I'm so thrilled that the first round that we're covering of the regular kind of championship of Fox Friday was such a drama-filled race. We didn't have a moment to think, and it's over in a flash. If this is what the rest of the season is going to be like, then I think we're in for an absolute treat here once a month on a Friday. Brilliant stuff. I enjoyed every minute. Michael, what do you reckon?
Yeah, this was absolutely fantastic racing, and I'm really thrilled about covering the remaining races of the season. Yeah, I had an energy drink prepared just in case I was falling sleepy, but this race kept me up, and everything was just going on, and I wasn't bored at any point.
No, boredom is a word that seldom enters the Sim Broadcast commentary box, especially when we're covering such high-octane drama such as this. But I think let's round out the results, and then we can enter our post-discussion phase. We should remind everybody, we should remind our viewers and our drivers that the Sim Broadcast commentary booth is open. You can go to simbroadcasts.tv/voice at the end of any of our broadcasts to join in with with post-race interviews. We love to hear from the drivers. We haven't heard from too many recently, so I just wanted to remind everybody that is an option during our broadcast. You can come and say hello to us, get your name out, any sponsors that you need to, or just come and say hello. We love to hear insights from the drivers, don't we? Gabor winning in stunning fashion, 11.85 seconds ahead of his closest competition in 1 hour, 15 minutes, 11 seconds, 0.96. He also took the fastest lap, a stunning 1 minute 38.9, ahead of TJ for road appraiser. Roger Chen takes that third place. It could have been so many other drivers in this race, but Roger Chen there will round out the podium. Unfortunate there to lose Marcelo Neva. We're not sure quite what happened to him. We kind of like last third of the race, he spectated along with Kaike Piroppo. Igor just missed out there, very, very close in the dying stages to try and get that podium away from Roger. Didn't quite manage it. Then we've got Christian, Zesty, Donny, Happy D, TC Racing's Adam, and Unite rounding out our top 10. Fragmaster's Strutter, Doctor, Fatal, Magrio, RD2, Al Payson, Scattle, Fragmaster's Fin UK, Pekka Koivunen for World Class Lines, and Born to Race Mantas round out the top 20.
And the reminder of the field, in 21st, it was Kirko 87, followed by Tango, then Carrera, Bipo, Drop Science, and Onifus in 26th, who DNF'd but is still classified. And then guys who didn't finish, Twincam, Niva, Piropo, and Boy in P30. Then it's Texas, Trespasser, Miko, Cabezon, J Winner, Rocket, J Paulo, Lima, Lucas, and the first who DNF'd, Rakes, who is not classified but is in 40th place.
Yeah, Travis, what do you make of that finishing order? I think Unite was certainly someone you wanted to pay attention to.
Yeah, I thought he might sneak another position there at the end. There was enough action that we couldn't look back, and he ended up finishing a little less than a second behind Adam. Just unbelievable drive by Unite to come from 40th on the grid. I mean, it was 22nd at the end of the first lap, so he definitely had plenty of help. But to make up another 12 positions on pace is with these fields is really impressive. So amazing job by him. The Citus drivers never disappoint. And Gabor once again the class of the field there at the very top. I note too his fastest lap was just a little bit shy of his qualifying time. So yeah, Gabor never disappoints. The man is a machine, and he puts on an amazing performance once again today. I will, before we join interviews, we really want to hear that man's voice, and he's won so many races that we have broadcast. I think he owes us one, and we know that he watches when he's racing too. So there's your call to come say hi to us sometime, Gabor. Take it away, Pete.
You might have your wish, Travis. Before we do go into that, we do need to do a little bit of advertising. We flashed this graphic up a few times during the broadcast, but I have it on good authority, and I have it in quotes, and I have a screenshot actually that Gabor said he would join for an interview after the final round of BF1 League, which is happening on Sunday.
Ooh,
so
okay.
Your wish might come true, Travis. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, without any further ado, I'll let you introduce our first interview for tonight. But yeah, tune into MRC's BF1 League on Sunday for the final round at 4:30 UTC. Travis, go for it.
Yeah, I think the first person we'll welcome into the commentary box is Christian. Christian finished 6th position today. Christian looked like you had a shot at the front of the order, 2nd and 3rd position. Had a little bit of an incident with Zesty, and then ultimately finished a little further down the order than you would like. But the fields are so strong. I feel like you must be pleased with a top 5 finish today.
I mean, yeah, sort of. Like, I know that I had the pace to finish better, but just couldn't keep it together. I just made way too many errors, and that cost me a lot of time in the race and cost me actually all the positions. Every time I lost a position, I made some sort of an error. They didn't really catch me. I always made an error. So in a way disappointed, but in a way I know that the field was really strong. So there is a reason to be sort of pleased with the results.
Yeah, we noticed earlier on in the race you were running a pretty strong 3rd position and then fell back, but we could not figure out what happened there. You dropped back, I think it was from 3rd to 5th position, and ended up in the fight with Zesty and Roger Chen. What happened there?
I simply ran wide. After the Sector 1 split, there is the right-hander that you go with 3rd gear. I ran wide on the exit, and the grass there is sort of a mix of sand and grass. So once you hit it, it just pulls you there, and I think I lost like 2 seconds there. So they basically caught me simply by that.
and then you had a little bit of an incident, a collision with Zesty. It looked to us like you came out of the slipstream just a little bit late, misjudged the positioning of the car, and then one light touch, and you guys had a collision. Did we see that correctly, or did you see it differently?
Collision with Zesty. I do not recall anything like that. On my
recollection may be really poor here. You, I think you had another touch with someone else, but that was not Zesty.
I think it was Roger Chen.
And
yeah,
Zesty
Roger.
Who
yes,
had
thank
the
you.
Incident.
Yes, yeah, that was Roger. Anyway, that's my mistake. I apologize for that. We'll make note on the stream that was not Christian's fault. Nobody blame him. Round out your thoughts on this event. You said that you're a little bit disappointed, but with the strength of the field, you're pretty pleased with the finish near the front. Just round out your thoughts on the race and on the Fox series. You, one of the Fragmaster teammates, you have to be really pleased with the success of the series.
Yeah, definitely. Considering that the series has been running for 13 years and I've been a part of it as a driver for 5 or 6 years and in FM for around 2 years, I have to say that I'm really happy to see that the series is still doing really well with the number of drivers, although the gaming overall may have lost some. But the way that Fox Fridays keep on going makes me really happy that we have these races to go on for Friday.
Well, we're thrilled that your team puts this event on, and we have had a lot of fun covering it today. Congratulations to you, and thank you for joining us in the commentary box.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, joining us next in the commentary box is the driver who finished. Where did he finish, actually? Let's take a look very quickly before we introduce him. It's good to get that number correct. Adam finished in P9. Let's have a word with him. Adam, welcome back to the commentary box. P9, what happened? Tell us about your race.
Yeah, relatively uneventful for most of it. I'm not best pleased. I got a bit of damage off some contact with Onifus, and that just lost me about 0.2 of a lap, and yeah, sort of pretty boring race.
Okay, well, it certainly wasn't boring from the outside, was it, Michael or Travis? Am I detecting a new microphone there, Adam? That's a very different sound.
You are indeed, yeah.
Is that the 20 quid Amazon special?
Yep.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, anyway, good advertisement. It wasn't boring from us. We did notice, and I reckon this is where you're coming from on this. You did have a pretty intense fight with Igor at one point.
Yeah, that was if I'm honest, I probably could have just let him past, but I was looking for a fight. I hadn't raced.
I figured.
I hadn't had any on-track action since like the first 5 laps, so I definitely wanted to have a bit of a side-by-side, and I think it was great fun. I think Igor was a bit annoyed.
Yeah, we talked about that, and we said exactly that you two were running different races, and you might be having fun, but he perhaps was not. So I am amused to hear that you saw it exactly the same way.
Yeah, he could have had a podium looking at the results, but I think I only cost him a second or so. So.
Well, if you look at the results, that's all he needed.
That 1 second, that 1 second might have been the difference for him. Would have been the difference for him. You late in the race, you said it was mostly lone. You created that fight by your own admission for your own entertainment with Igor. But you had Nico coming. Did you realize that he was charging from 40th on the grid and wanted to swipe 9th from you?
Yeah, me and Nico were in TeamSpeak together, so I definitely knew he was coming. He had an amazing race. I definitely think I wouldn't have had to worry if I didn't have, first of all, a bit of suspension damage. I also had a 0.1% of engine damage. But yeah, he had a great race. I was lucky the race wasn't another lap.
Well, before I boot you out of the commentary box, Adam, congratulations on actually finishing a race. It hasn't been great recently, has it?
No, I had a bad couple races last week. I finished every race this week though. So.
Well, there we go. We're on the up and up. Congrats, Adam. Top 10 for you. Must be nice to be in another Fox Friday. We'll hopefully catch you in a future round.
Definitely, yeah. Thank you very much.
Awesome stuff. Adam there
Cheers,
from
dude.
TC Racing, and finally the guy who got in contact with us really to host the 7 rounds of Fox Friday, the normal championship. It's Al Payson. Al, welcome to the commentary box.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, pretty good. How are you doing after that? You finished P16 in the end.
Yeah, it seems to be the story of my Fox Friday's life. It's 15, 16.
Well, you know, if it's comfortable, then that's where you end up. Travis, any questions for Al at this point?
Yeah, actually, so I tend to do this when I talk to people from Live for Speed that I've known for many, many years. Al, I have a question for you from the depths of time from Dark Side Racing. What'll it take to get LeBaron back out here?
Oh man, that's a name from the past. I don't know. He's moved out west. He's got a family now and stuff. So I haven't seen him online or on LFS anyway for quite some time. We did meet up though when I was touring a few years ago, and I make it a point to try and get in touch with LFS drivers that I've driven against.
Well, that's good to hear. Good for him. And, if we can get in touch and see him at one of these events, maybe we can get the band back together. Talk about your race. You finished a little bit further down the order, and you had it looked like you were in the Schmozzle at the beginning. What happened there?
Yeah, I don't really know. I haven't watched the replay yet. I just got tagged from the back. I didn't see who hit me from the back, and I got spun out and dropped down to 33rd from 21st. So, as like I said, it's the story of my Fox Friday's life is just putting my head down and digging back in again and getting back into the top 20.
Well, Al, thank you again for getting us involved in the Fox Friday coverage. You must be super pleased with how last week's event went, and as from a production side, we're pretty happy with how tonight's gone as well. We hope you can catch up on the VOD. But yeah, your comments on having a broadcast package secured for this season, albeit one a month.
Oh, I'm very pleased. You guys do a great job, and thank you for doing such a great job and loving it and showing the enthusiasm like you do. It's really cool, and I just like being a part of it. And I thought that Fragmasters needed to be, or Fox Fridays anyway, needed to be promoted a little bit more. So that's why
It's very kind, Al. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I mean, you've now got 2 slots every month with your GTI series and your Fox series. So yeah, you're taking up the calendar. It's great to see. And thank you. Yeah, thanks for inviting us along. We really appreciate it. Al, it wasn't your day. You said you're pretty comfortable in the 15th, 16th position, but dig deeper, bro. Let's get you up the order and see you improve throughout the series.
That's what I try to do every week. Sometimes you can't avoid those. I mean, I couldn't be mad because it wasn't anything I did. So.
Well, there we go. Thank you for joining us in the commentary box, and we'll see you next time, hopefully.
All right, thank you, and look forward to a great season with you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, likewise. See you later. That's all she wrote for round 23 of the Fragmasters Fox Friday series in Live for Speed. We hope you enjoyed it. We certainly did in the commentary box. Michael, give us your thoughts on your first your first broadcast on the commentary side of things.
It was a great experience. I was scared initially, as you guys know, as we spoke about it before the broadcast, but I really enjoyed it, and I'm really looking forward to cover remaining events of this Fox Friday season. And yeah, this is amazing experience, and I'm loving every second of it.
Good stuff. Well, we're glad to have you in the commentary box for your great insight, and we're glad you enjoyed it. No need to be scared though. But yeah,
not anymore.
Everybody. Yeah, no, not anymore. There you go. You've done one now. So, Travis, how do you think you did? I think you did great.
Yeah, welcome to Michael. I had a lot of fun chatting with you there in the middle of the race, kind of analyzing together with, looking at your teammates' performance. You did a great job. The rookie stripes are off. You're one of us now. So thanks very much for joining us. I had a great time joining you in the commentary box today.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Travis. We know you're not going to probably join us regularly, but it was great to have you in here for the first one that we're doing of this new season. We should actually talk about that before we sign off, of course. You can tune in again in July. Friday, the 14th of July, we are going to be covering an unknown track because there are another several rounds, 4 rounds of the championship before then. So please, if you're interested in driving in the Fragmasters Fox Friday series, then it happens every Friday at 7:30 UTC. for the one-shot qualifying session. So, if you're interested in driving the Fox in Live for Speed, then head over to the LFS forum and find out more about Fox Friday and get on the grid, because it's here every week. You have to make the top 14 qualifying, and that's it. You're in to the race. And we'd love to see you here in the commentary box, and obviously on the results screen of one of our broadcasts as well. We should also mention before we sign off just one more time that this Sunday it's the finale of Master Race Cars BF1 League. So much effort has been poured into this series from NDR, from MRC, and from us here on Sim Broadcast. We really have thrown everything we've got at this series, and we'd love for you to tune in. And if not, please go ahead and sign up, because we'd love to make the final grid for for season 3, the finale of season 3 of BF1 League, a massive success. Travis, you're going to be alongside me in the commentary box. We're looking forward to this one.
Yep, it'll be the two of us together. Tom is indisposed this weekend. He is attending the 24 Hours of Le Mans in France, so we're thrilled for him. Yeah, we'll miss him in the commentary box, but he's having a great weekend. So, cheers to Tom. Hopefully he can catch up on the finale when it's over. And Michael, our teammate in the commentary box today, helps put on a hell of a show in the BF1 League. So, as Pete said, do join and drive if you feel so inclined. If not, then tune in. It should be a very exciting conclusion to the season.
Yeah, we kept Chris McElroy busy in the background today. We thank him for his efforts as well on the cameras and guiding our show as usual. Travis, thanks again very much. Thank you, Michael, for your first commentary duties in the Sim Broadcasts team. Thanks again to Fragmasters for having us along for this. Thanks to the drivers. Congratulations to Gabor for a very, very impressive drive once again. I'm Peter Butcher. We've been Sim Broadcasts. We hope you have a fantastic evening and weekend. See you on Sunday for BF1 League, and we'll see you on the next broadcast of Fox Friday in July. From all of us here to all of you, have a great evening, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.